Hi, welcome in, Elgando. And I don't know, to be honest. I still feel like I don't know enough about this situation to say anything appropriate. In fact, I was very busy most of the day, so I didn't get to check out much. It is pretty crazy news. I'm not gonna disagree with that. Actually curious what it's gonna mean for us and the game and everything, but I don't know. As usual, I think I'm just gonna sit and wait and have a look at how things turn out, because I really struggle saying anything about this. Because I've not played CS or Cities as long as most other people, so I don't really know enough about the past. I guess so. I mean, I'm kind of hopeful to some degree. I'm also scared and have a bad feeling about a lot of this, but then am I also hopeful that maybe at least this could not be horrible? Yes, I totally am. So I'm not sure. I've not decided how to feel about any of this yet, to be honest. I'm curious how most people feel about this. You're
I
alarmed,
wish we
Elgato.
had a cactus.
Yeah, I would say the same for now, really.
I
Just
wish
sit
we had a
still
cactus.
and wait and see what's happening. I mean, in the one hand, I'm actually pretty hopeful, because one thing that is, at least to me as a Cities players, very nice that I mean, we've gotten timelines the first time in forever. And welcome in Andy and Metzger and Shooks and Gaga. But yeah, I don't know, the timelines kind of give me hope, to be honest, because that's something we've never had in the past. Does it give me hope looking at what games Ice Flakes has been working on in the past? Not really. In fact, I think that's kind of alarming if you look at what games they worked on beforehand. But I don't know. I'm trying to be positive, and I'm just gonna wait and see. Maybe it's good, maybe it's bad. But yeah, I agree. Like looking at the old games that Ice Flakes made is not exactly fueling me with confidence. But then, in all honesty, like I can never really say, because I feel like I've been generally less unhappy than the majority of the
That's
player
cute.
base. But I don't know. I don't think Colossal Order has been doing an amazing job since I'm playing the game, at least. So who knows? My hope for Ice Flakes is not the biggest, but then does it have to be horrible? I don't think so. We're gonna have to carefully have a look at it and find out together. But then, I mean, the good news, and I think people actually talk about that a bit too little, because there is some very good news in there. We're actually getting the asset editor. Is kinda excited, so I don't know, but yeah, I guess so. I mean, not only mobile games, they have that one title, but I had no time today. I would have liked to actually look a bit at it and have an idea how horrible or bad it is, but they have that Surviving the Aftermath. That is, I guess, more survival than city game, but I would at least say it qualifies remotely as a city builder. I don't know. Has anybody in chat ever tried that or had a look at that? Because yes, the other games obviously give nothing to judge of. So oh, okay, so actually that is pretty interesting to know, because yeah, that means they have Unity experience at least. So I guess that is good. I mean, at least that sounds good. But yeah, I don't know. Their portfolio is not exactly making me super confident either. So I get that people are taking away a bit. And I'm very curious, guys. As you can tell, we're still not really being back in Los Vagos. I'm still annoyed by the traffic and hope that the patch we're getting this Wednesday finally makes me want to dive back into Los Vagos. But I've been still doing weird map stuff for a long time. And we're starting to reach a point where I'm starting to at least not hate all of this anymore. I cleaned up the entire coastline, as you can see. So I think the coastline actually looks very cute now. And what I did, and what I'm very curious about any input from chat, is I went ahead and drawn in a lot of roads, as you can obviously tell. Many of these have to get cleaned up a little, and I have to like reevaluate what we want to keep. But in general, this is pretty much how I imagined roads in this map. There is a lot of reasoning why the roads are like they are, just to preface this, because I think in a map with easier terrain, I probably would have put less roads in here. One of the reasons why I feel forced to put a bit more maps than, or a bit more road infrastructure than I would usually, is that I want people to build in weird places, right? I really want to motivate people to build up in the hills. I really want to motivate people to build deep down in the canyons. Many reasonings like that. And in all honest truth, I don't think people would do that, because building a road like this, if it's looking appropriate, takes a long time. If somebody wants to build all the way back here, I don't think that's gonna happen unless we put some roads there. So I'm happy about opinions on the general road layout. Mostly it's this round highway that goes through the entire map that we've done, but yes, then we also have these some of these weird connectors through the backlands, again, mainly because I want to motivate people to play here. But I would be very, very interested in any feedback or ideas about this. As you guys know, this is the first map I'm ever doing, so I have no experience. I'm not great at this. We are learning and figuring together. I'm pretty much just building something that I would like to really build on, and everything else we have to figure out together. And welcome in, Urban. Nice to see you. Let me catch up on chat real quick while I was ranting about my map. Something is censored in your message, Metzger, for some reason. So I'm not entirely sure if I can follow what you're saying, but yeah, I guess you mean the timelines, right? Because let's see if they actually manage to stick to the timelines. That alone would be something new and different. So very unsure. Yeah, that's censored again. Not sure whatever word you're typing, but Twitch does not seem to like that word. I'm actually quite proud of the roads, because you guys know, when looking at me built in Los Vagos, I am not the best or most experienced in regard to any road work in this game. And I think for how shit I am generally at road work, some of these interchanges turned out really cute. I need to preface this, the original location of this is in California, and I did try to get a weird vibe of Californian interchanges in, because Californian highways in general are very old in infrastructure, and one of the things you can very noticeably tell in Californian highways that's a bit different to infrastructure you see in the rest of the US, and it's due to the age of these highways and them being very old, many of those have very weird off-ramps, right? You never see an off-ramp like this in Texas or in Arizona, because that infrastructure is so much more modern. And obviously this is very short, right? Like some of these on and off ramps, they are more like I don't know, this one is a good example. They're more like a driveway to a house than an actual highway on and off ramp. But looking at California, I do think that's very typical, especially for this highway. I think it's 101. I'm actually not entirely sure. I'm not American, don't quote me on this. But the nice oceanfront highway going along the coast in California has a lot of those weird, not too well-aged, short intersections. And I was hoping to get that same vibe into the game. I'm not sure how well I managed at that, but I think kind of alright. We're gonna heat that one out, so it looks a bit emptier. Gaga, look here. I cleaned this corner up a little. I think this is a lot better, because I keep all of the connector roads I really want in here, but then it looks a lot less gritty than it did before. And welcome in, Nomis. Nice to see you here. It's so curious for me, especially I'm curious about the perspective of Andy and Nomis, or most still CS1 players, because have they said anything about CS1 in their statement? Not really, right? There's been, at least from what I've seen, no mention about any CS1 content. Which, not gonna lie, if I'd be a CS1 player, I'd be slightly scared by that, I guess. Also, holy shit, guys. When I started doing water, I knew that I'm gonna place a lot of water sources, but do you guys see this number? We placed 171 water sources to this moment. We're just starting to lay out our rivers. We have to do a lot of terraforming and fix a lot of things up. This really is just meant as a base level to work the rivers in, and we're already close to 200 water sources. This is crazy, wholeheartedly. I did not expect that one would put this many water sources in there. How many water sources do you have? Because I'm very curious. As always, Poplar, I'm shit at making maps. It's my first map ever. I don't know what I'm doing. I'm slowly learning by doing and trying to figure this out a bit. I guess I will probably not hit that, because in reality, we don't have that much water in our map. So I'm quite surprised, right? Because so far, the only water we have, and again, this is all just thrown down to give me a better idea of what I want to do, and then we're going to clean this up better. But we have this small river here that is not finished yet. We have the majority of it, but we have to finish up the end here. Then we have part of this river, again, not finished. We need to, this one we need to terraform quite heavily, because especially here there is a lot of rework to be done on that. And then we have this river going down this canyon on this side. And I started with a few smaller ones up here, but holy shit, like I would think we probably have like half of the water we need to do in this map, maybe a bit more. Just in sources, we need to do a lot of the terraforming still. But then, which I did not really tackle yet, and what I also want to do, I've been trying around with that a bit here, is these very, very thin and shallow canyony ones that I want these to a very low water level. I basically want those to be running dry every once in a while. So I am wholeheartedly surprised how many it's been already. It's like absurd, to be honest. But is that and welcome in, Poplar. But is that confirmed already that CS1 is also included in this? Because you're saying you get news from snowflakes, because is CS1 also getting transferred to snowflakes? Is that included in the deal? That's part of what I didn't get to see, because I had so little time today that I didn't really get to look into it. Because I just didn't see any mention of CS1, at least in reading into it really quickly. Yeah, I mean, updating if you place 400 sources seems finicky. I'm the first one to agree with that. Yeah, I guess so. They did never mention CS1 or CS2, they just said the franchise. So I guess that does mean that CS1 is also a Snowflake's game now. Which wholeheartedly, thinking about it, I would imagine that for CS1 this is worse news than for CS2. Because CS2 is like in ongoing development where they at least have to work on it and fix things, but then CS1, I mean, I guess you will get your wish and they won't break anything because they won't do anything about it. But yeah, I'd be surprised if CS1 sees any content updates anytime soon with this. But yeah, I guess you're right, like you guys have a great and functional game at the moment, so as long as they don't mess with it, it should be perfectly fine. And Poplar, if you have any tips on map making stuff, gladly hit me. My research has been a lot of learning by doing and trying around, and I tried a lot of things before we're doing them properly now. But that and watching Ancient Swan and a few of your videos has been all of my research on map making, so a lot of this is probably not the way it should be done, and you're probably in physical pain watching me do this. But if you have any tips for me how you can be in less physical pain watching this, then gladly, I wouldn't mind. And welcome in, Lawrence. Nice to see you, you're cutie. And let me catch up on chat real quick. I can either play the game or read chat. I'm not that great at multitasking. I guess so. For me, honestly, one of the things I like about the transferring from Colossal Order to PDX is just as a consumer or as a player of the game, I now know who to shame. I can now just say, hey, this is not great, and I don't have to think about if that's PDX or Colossal Order or creator made. Now I have one address and I can adjust or direct all of my blame towards that address, and that at least is, I guess, something good we have going forward. And yeah, but yeah, I guess Poplar is right that officially development ended, but then yeah, all of the stuff you've gotten in CS1 was creator made. I don't really care as a player of the game. I never really made if it's mind if it's creator made. My God! Not. Okay, it's happening. Everybody stay calm. What's the procedure, everyone? What's the procedure? Stay calm. And welcome in, Mother. Thank you, cutie, for the raid. How was your stream today? You've been playing Anno, if I've seen correctly. I'm still catching up on chat, but how was your stream? How did Anno treat you today? Yeah, I guess you guys make a good point. Like, CS1 development is done, so nothing really to do there. That makes absolute and perfect sense. Yeah, I mean, I agree. In fact, absolutely no news today, Lawrence. I don't know what people are talking about. I have no clue what happened here. And how are you enjoying Anno? If I wouldn't like cities so much, I think I would actually kinda enjoy Annos as well, or Anno as well. Seems like a fun kind of game, but then I already have too little time for the few games I like. I just never feel like I need more games to have no time for. Of course, I could have seen that coming, Elgando. But yes, also welcome Lawrence. It's a bit of a weird first proper stream for you to be into, because generally we do the highly detailed build stuff and slowly work on things. But recently I've been hiding away from my actual build and trying to learn how to make a map. And while trying to learn, I mean, I'm catastrophically failing at making a map, but slowly and surely we're making some progress. This is what we have so far, and I'm starting to not hate it anymore. In fact, I quite like how this is turning out. So I'm having a good time making maps. I am currently not having a good time playing the game. In all fairness, I think that should solve itself this Wednesday, if I'm not mistaken. I'm glad about everybody that had fun, but I just couldn't handle that we did not know if the new traffic is buggy or not buggy, or I don't mind if we have more traffic, I don't mind if I have to fix it, but I mind not knowing if that's a permanent fix, and if I fix it and they just re-roll the traffic changes a week later because they consider it to be a bug. So at the moment I did not love playing my save. Yeah, I mean, the map theme is debatable. The map theme is something I just threw down myself really quickly. So this is not a proper map theme. It's just what I want this vibe to be, right? Like, I already showed this yesterday. This map does not, in fact, I think it probably looks better in normal green themes. This totally does not have to be a desert map, right? The actual real-life location is probably closer to this than it is to my desert theme. I just really love Arizona and Utah and Red Rocks. So I want to play in a reddish, kind of orange, screaming desert. But everybody is very welcome to play this in whatever map theme you enjoy. But again, that map theme is really just something I've thrown together really quickly, so there definitely needs to be done some optimizations on that. Yeah, have a good night, Maza, and thank you so much for the raid. And sleep tight. And let's hope we'll get some good cities news soon, else maybe eventually I have to start joining you and play Anno instead. And yeah, Cactus, you make a good point. One of the things I'm very unsure about, where I'd actually like opinion of people, is vegetation. Because I do, again, want this to be a desert build, but I don't want this to be as dry as Los Vagos. I do definitely want more green vegetation in here, more vegetation that is still alive, and generally have a bit more variation in our vegetation, because while I think vegetation in Los Vagos did work great and looked really good, we were quite self-limited in what we were working with. And I would like to have a bit of a bigger collection on trees for this one. We can actually have a look at it. I had a look yesterday before going to bed real quick at what kind of foliage I could imagine in this, and I'm obviously happy about any input because I'm not from the US, so I don't know what I'm doing anyways. And what we're doing right here, redrawing these rivers and making them deeper, this is probably something you guys will have to watch me do quite a lot. Because many of these rivers are not deep enough. I mean, I already think for what I wanted to do, I want this to be a really rural build, Lawrence. I think this is pretty, this already for my personal taste, I think I already pretty much freedom this up to the maximum. Yeah, you're totally right, of course. We will have to make some bullet hole decals and then blast some bullet holes on every traffic sign, because that does seem very region accurate. So I agree. And I mean, you say that this is actually true to real life. This is actually very true to real life. Not all of it. I adjusted the road layout in places to what I prefer, but this is very close to the actual infrastructure. I've been redrawing quite a bit of this with an overlay, so yes, I also would have expected it to be even more lanes, but then in reality, that highway actually only has as many lanes as we gave it. What doesn't mean that we can't change that. We're obviously totally open to make it bigger, but I'm not sure we have to be honest. Especially because while yes, we're gonna use US infrastructure just because I think we don't have enough for other regions yet. This again will not have any real life location we're building after. I'm just stealing the topography because I find this to be a cool and inspiring place where I believe it's gonna be very easy to make a cool build in. But do we care about this being in the US? Not the slightest. Well, I mean, I'm the same. I always, like, half of Los Vagos is just a parody making fun of Americans, which I'm sorry to my American viewers. I love all of you, but then you guys live in a very weird, perverted country, and I like making fun of that, and I'm not sorry about it. Bullying is my love language. Don't ever feel attacked if I bully anybody. In fact, if I bully somebody, it comes from a place of love. And I'm probably also being a bit too extreme with the amount of water sources I place in how close I go. The main reason I do that is because if I mess up, I like to reset the water, and then it takes a lot shorter to fill everything up again. And even if people later go in here and terraform the river quite heavily, then I feel like I'm messing less with them. I mean, wholeheartedly, not a bad idea. I actually been thinking about, because yes, we do have enough space here. I do think I will probably go in and try to handcraft an island somewhere here later on. Because yes, I totally do agree with you that an island here would be very much lovely. Not obviously there is none in real life, but that shouldn't have to stop us, so maybe. But for now, we're gonna spend the next 500 years on making this water proper, because while the new water simulation looks great, and I'm curious if other people have also noticed this rendering bug seems a lot more frequent in the new water simulation, where if you zoom out far, yes, we're also zooming out very far, but in flat waters, you get this very weird, rough, shitty rendering. As much as I love the new water, I wholeheartedly think that's gotten worse. Oh well, I guess I should have not said that during the ad break, but I'm gonna say it again, because I'm actually curious in what you guys think. Because as much as a new water sim is amazing, this weird rendering bug with the water in flat places not rendering anymore, that seems to be a lot more frequent with the new water sim than the old water sim. What we were seeing right here. And our water is not even that flat. I already took combat the effect of this happening, went in here and manually made the water everywhere a bit deeper, right up to the coastline, just to make sure we're seeing less of that effect. But then if you zoom out far, it's not something you can stop from happening unless you want the water to just go straight down and have no detail in it, which does not seem like a great alternative either, to be honest. So yeah, I'm not entirely sure how to deal with that appropriately yet. And I don't think I'm the only one. Maybe it's also something I'm doing wrong, but I recall that Shane, for example, also complained about this when the new water sim came out. So I assume this is just something with the new water sim that we have to live with for now. Maybe ice flakes will fix it. Yeah, no, I think, unless my graphic settings reset, I think I actually have all of these set as well as I can, because the only two things that I believe impact this is this, which I have the highest subdivisions and the lowest target patch size, which I guess is what I should have, and in these I have all on the very max, which I also believe is the best to combat what we're seeing. So I think it's already on the most optimized settings to avoid this from happening, but it indeed still is happening, sadly. But am I the only one that gotten worse? No, I don't think. Yes, that also happened in the old water simulation. It's not like that effect generally is something entirely new happening now. But it seemed like in the old water sim it only happened in very, very flat water. And now it seems to, at least from my own personal feeling, it seems to be happening a little earlier. Maybe I'm wrong with that, but it seems like it. And welcome in, Hjorten. Nice to see you, mate. How are you liking the very calm news we got today that totally don't change everything about our game in future? I don't know. I'm as usual. I'm calm till I see a reason to panic. I'm just gonna sit still and wait and see. And maybe they do good, maybe they do horrible. We will find out in future. I guess so. I don't know. I also generally don't have the best feeling about this, but then I seem to have been one of the few only people that has been at least somewhat happy with the game in recent months, so maybe they can do better. I don't know. Maybe it's just wishful thinking, but yeah, my alarm bells also are ringing, but then am I hopeful that maybe this can mean something good? Kinda. Well, I was actually thinking about that because I had a weird situation not too long in my own personal life where I had to let the developer go, and it's been a developer I really valued as a person, and I also really valued their work for a long time, but they've became very unreliable and missed pretty much all deadlines for a longer duration, so it wasn't like one-off or something, and I was heartbroken about it, but I do had to cut business relationship with that cute gentleman. So I get it. I'm not saying Colossal Order is at fault and Paradox is not, because I have no clue. Maybe Paradox is at fault and Colossal Order is the innocent one getting punished for nothing here, but if performance for something is very lackluster for a long duration, then I do see a need to change personnel as well to some degree. Though yeah, again, the product portfolio of Ice Lake is at least not making me full of confidence. And I'm not sure if Poplar is still here. Have they ever said why we can't place water sources outside the playable area? It would be so nice to fill up these rivers here as well. But I guess that's not something we can do, from my understanding. At least we can plant trees outside. I wasn't sure that works either. Yeah, I mean, I've been called in on many projects as a kind of fireman when things in the project prior did not work out well and they needed somebody to pick up and fix it. I'm not sure if Ice Flakes is the right company to do that job, but then yeah, that can totally happen and be reasonable depending on the situation. I don't know. Again, looking at their portfolio, that situation scares me. Otherwise, I'm gonna try to stay positive till I get more reason to panic, which, let's see, we might sometime soon, but let's hope we don't.
Bye, have a great time.
Alright, Elgando, thanks for tuning in and get home well. I would like your opinion as well, guys. How many of these smaller rivers should I draw out? Because I would like to use some of these, but I would also like to have some of these dry. This one, for example, I think is probably too much to have as a running river. This just seems like it collects water when it's raining, and then maybe you get a little flow, but this does not look like a proper fledged river to me. I guess same even goes for this one. Meanwhile, this one kinda looks like a river flowing through this valley to me. So I guess this one is maybe a bit better. What gets censored by my Twitch? Again, Matscore had this earlier, and Lawrence, your second word of whatever you just typed also got censored, so I have no clue what you just said. Not sure why my Twitch is being so harsh. Generally, I have little moderation in my channel, and the song is silent forever, so I'm gonna skip that real quick. Oh yeah, if you wanna post a link, I would actually really gladly look at that, but I think even though I allowed it, Twitch kind of automatically blocks that, or Seribot or somebody does. But if you wanna post links, gladly post so on my Discord. I would like to see what you posted. I can also, if it's something you think that's worth getting shared, post it in my Discord and I can post it in my chat. But again, Twitch is for some reason being kinda harsh on that. Do we actually need a new water source here? Why is this not... This should be totally enough. Am I just too impatient? I guess I'm just too impatient. Because yes, this is enough. But I'm saying I can definitely tell here I will spend a lot of time smoothing out all of these rivers later on, because with a quick and dirty terraforming we've been doing here, these edges, I cannot live with this is horrible. So I will probably spend a lot of time zoomed in at this level with a flattening tool, flattening these later on. My both mods don't really know how to moderate on Twitch. It's Gaga and Elgando, and I'm not saying they are not the best moderators that one could ever hope for, but I don't think they ever used Twitch prior to being mods on my channel. So my moderator team is as good as moderating as I am at streaming. I'm a horrible streamer, so I gotten the right moderators to make up. See, Gaga doesn't even know that he's this is about a great show of competence of my mod team. My mod team is not even aware it's part of the mod team. So there you see, you're dealing with absolute professionals here, Jordan. And not yet. I mean, you can be if you want to. Like, I don't know. I wholeheartedly don't care. The truth is, Seribot does all important moderation flawlessly anyways. So the only moderator I really need is Seribot, because Seribot is clutch and does wonderful at banning and instantly deleting all of those annoying spammers. So being a moderator in my channel is pretty much only for bragging rights. Well, Gaga, the good news is I also don't know how to moderate my own channel, so you know as much as me, really. Can't be any worse. And sorry, what we're doing here is something I obviously should have done in the past already, but as you guys can clearly see, this has no bridge and this didn't have a bridge, and obviously I want a river to go through here, so that is something we need to fix up real quick. I've never had problems with crashes. I know I'm probably not in the majority with this, and if you read what Lawrence just said, then I guess I should feel very blessed, but I crashed maybe 2 times in the last 5 months, so while I have a lot of bad things to say about cities in other topics, stability has been an absolute non-issue for me, which I guess is not a norm and I should be happy about it, but yeah, for me, my game has been running extremely stable for the last 5 months. Like, I don't run autosave, and I always forget to save for hours, and it never makes me pay for it. Like, I'm so cocky about my stability that I have like 4-hour play sessions without saving a single time, and I totally get away with it, which I guess I'm lucky with that, but my computer is not particularly powerful. In fact, I would say quite opposite. My computer is a pretty much a shit box, but it runs cities fine enough even while streaming. So stability-wise, no complaints. If it's about bugs and weird things happening in the game, then many complaints, but a bit of a different nature, I guess. My rig is like a 3-year-old self-built for 1,000 euros. It's an AMD 7600X, I think, as a processor, and an AMD 6700 XT as a GPU, which is a has been a budget GPU already when I bought it a few years ago. So it's honestly, wholeheartedly I'm surprised that I run this game as well as I do, but it runs pretty goddamn stable for me. Yeah, I like building computers. I helped Urban picking out parts for his new rig that seem to have turned out beautifully. But my own computer is not the best. I didn't know about cities when I built this computer. I built this computer to play Counter-Strike, and to play Counter-Strike you don't really need a powerful computer, so it was very much built for shooting other people in the head, not for building a city. And it does decently at building cities as well, I guess, but it was never intended for that. Again, I can see it. There is so much terrain fixing that we'll have to do here later. For now, I mainly just want to get more of the rivers in to get a bit better overview of the terrain. But I'm definitely not happy with this quality we have here. Definitely gonna be a lot of revisiting in these areas later. So I'm surprised, because Lawrence, I know you did not play very much recently. At least if I'm not mistaken. But I'm surprised that you still have that many stability issues, because I feel like, yes, I always had especially good stability, even when people were crashing a lot more. But in the last few months, I feel like everybody is kind of being very stable and not crashing too much. Yeah, Moose, nothing happened today, did there? I don't know what people are talking about. It rained a bit today, which I didn't like, but else I don't think anything happened. And Moose, I'm starting to be proud. Not yet, it's too far away from being finished to be proud yet. But we have the road layout completely in this, and I'm so happy with how the roads turned out, because I'm so shit at roads usually. Look at how exciting this is gonna be. Look at all of these small places here. Look at all of these next to the highways. Look at these places here back in this canyon. Yes, we're missing a river here still. We're gonna put a river here, don't worry guys. But how cute is this gonna be to build in if you have this road here that, in all seriousness, we need to clean up this road a little bit. It's not the perfection I strive for yet. But I'm actually excited, not because I think there is prettier maps. I even think out of the maps that we had a look at for candidates for what we want to build out, I think there were prettier candidates, to be honest, that purely visual could be the nicer map. I love this map for what it does in my head. Like, I look at this and I know how the build is gonna look like. My head is exploding with ideas just from looking at this area here. So I feel like it's gonna build itself, and I'm very wholeheartedly proud about that. And I actually managed to build some okay-ish interchanges. This one I'm very proud of. And I think the one I'm the most proud of actually is, where is it? Where is it? Am I blind? This. I love this. How we managed to bring this one in below over the river as well. I think this turned out so nice. No, I've been thinking about it. I mean, this is... Well, I don't want to rebuild that place. The actual name it should be is Avila Beach, because I'm gonna do something I don't usually do, but I'm gonna show my browser really quick. This has been the top candidates for what we want to build, right? And this is the entire area, which obviously is not as deserty as I'm making it, but I wanted to be as deserty. I don't really care what is here. We're not gonna build anything like it is here anyways. But the spot I found so inspiring is this. It's Avila Beach. So I do think probably I'm actually gonna stick with a real name this time and call it Avila Beach. Even though I don't want it to be Avila Beach, I don't want it to build like this, but the topography in this is what made me love this place, right? These small, close to the river towns here and all of this building in the hills. I love this place. I think it's so amazing. I mean, Moose, just so you get an idea, this has been the actual list. Like, I looked at the entirety of the US, right? I don't like the US either. The reason we're looking only in the US is just for ease of data. I can get really easy data in the US, right? So that's why we're going for the US. But you can see this is all of the places that I wholeheartedly considered and looked at, and I think I made keys and world maps for all of these and loaded them into my game, and I looked at everything marked here. I ignored half of the US, I guess, but my favorite side of the US, which clearly is not hard to see, which place in the US I think is the most interesting. I've looked at all of this, right? I spent hours going over these places, and the one that I found the single most fun to build in is the one we initially went with, and it's Avila Beach. So probably I will call it Avila Beach. Even though Avila Beach is the smallest place in all of these, right? The actual place is here. How's it called? This also has a name. Prismo Beach or something? But this is way bigger, and then we have, here, Pismo Beach. This is an actual big city here as well, right? But all of these places I don't find that interesting. The place I find so interesting is this. Yeah, I also think Avila Beach is a cute name, honestly, so I probably think we're just gonna call it Avila Beach. Also, I don't want to put a golf course here. I think building golf courses is kind of boring in this game. But if anybody ever needed cool inspiration for a golf course, holy shit, guys, is this not the coolest golf course there's ever been in history of Earth? Welcome in, Hand Gamer. Nice to see you here. Hope you have a nice evening. I'm just showing the inspiration for the map we're working on currently. And again, I don't want to build a golf course here, but I think this is so cool. Like, inside, it's like literally the golf course takes over this entire canyon, and then you have this ambiente or this view out to the front with the ocean and everything, and then the other way around, if you look this way, you have that crazy view out on the hillside. I think it's so cool, wholeheartedly. Like, there is a few very interesting and cool things here. This place also, I think you would love this, Moose. We actually did research on what this is. I'm gonna show the pier in a moment. But I could not believe it, because when I looked at this, I was like, this looked like storage, right? But then we couldn't figure out what kind of storage it is. I think Bagnario, I'm not sure, maybe I give credit to the wrong person, but I think Bagnario or somebody else googled real quick what this actually is. And this place is used to store gasoline, which I find absurd, because it's like open hill, and they literally put gasoline and oil in these places, which I couldn't believe it. But yes, if you Google the company looking here, you can look at it, and it's absurd. I think it's such a cool place. I will probably detail this up already in the map and keep it, because I think it's so cool, but I'm not sure. And now, to make Jay happy, we can have a look at the pier. This pier here, I don't find this particularly interesting, but they have a very cool pier, and it's in the left. I'm gonna show you the other one in a moment, because it's not bad, right? It's just a normal pier. This pier here, meanwhile, this I think is very fascinating, because as you can see, you can drive on here with a car. It's actually a good question. I've never looked into that, if it's used for a ferry or if it's just to transport. I guess this is probably for a ferry, because you can drive on here with a car. It's a bit difficult to see. Maybe we should see if there is some street view here as well, because the truth is, I just care about the topography. I want to build my own place, so I didn't look at many of these too properly yet. Sad. No street view here. Maybe here from the front at least. But yeah, I didn't check too much of this area yet, again, because I plan on building my own thing. But alone, how long this is absurd, right? Like, look at it from the ocean here. This feels like you're going to a different town on the end there. That actually is absurd for how long this is. I have not looked at this entire area in Street View. I guess that's also something I should do a bit more to get a better idea of all of this. And then there is even, I guess Jay is actually also really gonna like this, because there is another pier. There is no shortages in piers in the slightest. The last one is this. And this also looks like it's for ferry. I think this is probably for a passenger ferry, the way it looks. Because again, you have all of this up here, and then yeah, fairly sure that this is where the ferry docks, and then you drive through this and get onto the ferry. So crazy pier density, right? Because this is, I don't know, I suck at scale, but this can't be a long distance from each other in a car. That's like a 2-minute drive, if at all. So very curious. And then even they have this bridge water here in the front, where I definitely gonna put a lighthouse on top of this, because I think this island is made for having a lighthouse on top of there. I even been thinking if I bring this road through here as well, but I need to pay a bit attention that I'm not getting too detailed before people have their own way on dealing with it. But I guess that location just inspired me hard. And we're gonna build a very different city here than what you see in real life, but the terrain is just so amazing. Like, I love having little space. I love the visuals of this. Ignore the river again. This terraforming is not great yet. We're gonna have to redraw most of the rivers a bit better. Yeah, I know the lighthouse is actually here in reality, but then I don't care about reality. I just care about what I think cute. And if this is not cute, I don't know what is. Yes, fair question. How does one get here probably? Do we care? I don't really care. You climb. I believe in you. You can climb up there. We can build you a small staircase up if you really care about it. But do I think this space or this place is made for a lighthouse? Yes, absolutely. In fact, I want a lot of lighthouses. I want another lighthouse here. I think this entire area is perfect for putting in lighthouses. The one thing, but I'm gonna wait till the ad break is over so you guys can hear me properly again. The one thing I would be very curious in is input for vegetation, because I feel very unsure with what plants I want to use. What is ATV? You mean a quad? If you say ATV, do you mean a quad, or you mean something different? Yeah, I mean a cactus obviously would be nice, and quads would also be incredibly fitting for this area. But then, do I think we will get either? Sadly, no. Though I mean, hold on, we're getting the asset editor. We literally have a deadline for the asset editor now, so maybe a cactus is on the table sometime soon. But now comes the real question, and a question I could need a lot of input in, and it's vegetation, because I would be very curious in what plants you find fitting. Sadly, in the editor, you have to live with this horrible... Okay, that tree just caught fire. But I am very unsure on vegetation, and I hate it in the editor because you get these weird arrows that do nothing but make it impossible to see what you're doing. I'm also unsure why this is happening. I think it just happens if I go on this arrow. I guess this arrow is from the... Does that happen to all of them? If I go on the upper arrow. Here is the lower one. I'm not gonna say I'm God, but I can light any tree on fire by my personal touch. So I guess I'm a magician. Yeah, see, Lauren, the problem is palm trees and small bushes is exactly what I've been doing in Los Vagos for the last 8 months. And yes, those are settled, I agree. Give me a real quick moment. My headset is running out of battery, so I need to put the cable real quick. So give me 5 seconds and I'm back. Okay, now I'm properly back. But yeah, what is very sad, like Lauren says, is these things, and I also, this bush is perfect, this bush is perfect. All of this is set. It's pretty much one-to-one what we had in Los Vagos already. But now comes the kicker. I want this to be a bit more green, and I want a bit more variety, because just the palm trees and the bushes, it is a bit limiting for some things. And the more I look at it, I actually think the pine is not a horrible fit, because yes, often you see the pine in very non-arid climates, but then in some dry desert scenarios you do actually see quite a bit of pine trees as well. And I'm even thinking about maybe the Ador, or however it's called. Holy shit, I just thought it would crash, but I just opened the dev menu on accident. But this I'm also maybe tempted by. I'm very unsure, because I do think I would like to have a foliage variety this time that is not just exclusively palm trees and bushes. Else this just feels like Los Vagos 2.0, which in all honesty it's probably gonna be a bit like Los Vagos 2.0. But 1 or 2 actual trees with leaves would be appreciated if we can get that to mix. Maybe we actually have to look at Google Maps and different plants a bit, because most of the plants I don't find too pretty. I had a bit of a look yesterday, and my favorites, foliage, here it is, are all of these that are marked. And it's not many. Most of these are just bushes and palm trees, exactly like you just said, Lawrence. The ones that maybe we can consider are this one. Maybe, I'm not sure actually. Maybe we do have to look at Google Maps and see if this could be realistic. And then maybe the linden. I'm not sure. I like both the linden as well as the London pane. I think they are very pretty, both of these. They look nearly identical. I looked at both of these trees for a long time yesterday. I can never settle the argument in my own head which one I think better. So I'm curious, what does Chad think? London pane or the linden tree? Which one is the less horrible one? And welcome in, Dava. Yeah, your computer is, I would say, quite a bit more powerful than mine. I have 12 gigabytes of RAM and a weaker GPU. I have the same amount of RAM, and I don't know how much stronger than my CPU yours is, but if it's a 9-9, it should have a lot more cores and juice than mine as well. And sure, I can show you my settings. I can also like put a proper screenshot of my settings into my Discord if you wanna compare properly, Geronimo. Or we can just scroll over it. Otherwise, but I need at least a single person to give me their opinion. Right side, London Pane. Left side, Linden. Which of these trees do we think is the prettier one? I think I have my choice. Left, actually, curious, because I think even though I say I cannot decide, I think yesterday when I looked at them, my feeling said I preferred this one. The leaves on these look a bit prettier. I think the color on the other one looks a bit prettier. All of these are on fire. I am a magician. Oh, well, see, now I want to do it. I can't get it to happen. Here, look at me. I'm the fire master. I can light up these trees when I wanna have them burn. And I'm gonna show you my settings real quick, and then actually I need to, if Dava is here, which is an honor, I need to use Dava's train expertise, because trains is one of the things that I'm not sure in this map yet. First, we have a quick look at this. I think, honestly, my settings are pretty much non-special. Oops. Am I being silly? I am being silly. The only things I do quite care about, I think, in the settings that matter, anti-aliasing depends on if you have an AMD or a NVIDIA card. But clouds, I would leave these on if my computer would be more powerful, because I think that is very nice to have. I do like the fog, I do like volumetrics, though I turned it down a little, because my rig is weak. Thank you so much, Dava. That's very nice of you. That goes towards my next graphics card update, because I do need a better graphics card for this game. And then all of these I would turn off. Ambient occlusion and global illumination. I think all of these just make the game uglier than it could be. Depth of field I have off can look pretty, but you can just turn it on for taking screenshots if you want to. Shadow, I know people disagree and agree with me sometimes. I think shadows look prettier on low quality than on high quality, and I think low quality has a few terrain bugs that don't happen on low quality, that happen on high quality, so I would always put shadows to low. None of this is performance related though, that is all just because I think it's better. And then here subdivisions always to 5 and this to 4 just means that stuff like water or trees get rendered a bit longer even if they're small. All of these I just put to the very right, but really my settings are fairly normal. I gladly can send you the subdivisions. To be honest, you should ask Winter, not me, because Winter is the one who told me to turn that off. I had 4 and 4. The one that really matters is a lower one, that you put the target patch size smaller, because then it renders better. But otherwise, I'm not sure. I think both of them are really good to have. But Winter helped me a bit with water settings, because I was complaining about this shitty bug that happened since we have the new water simulation, where the water in very flat areas gets this beautiful looking great effect. And Winter was telling me that I should put up all of my water settings higher, and then maybe it happens less frequent, but it does still happen very frequent, which is not amazing. But yeah, if you have any questions, Geronimo, again, gladly ask in my Discord. If you want the screenshots of those settings, I can also gladly send that to you. And now, if Dava is still here, we're gonna use Dava's cute input, because Dava, you know trains better than any other person on the history. In fact, sometimes I'm not sure if you are not a train. Maybe you are a train, maybe you're a person. I'm not 100% sure about either. I think so. Yes, I also think Dava is a train. I mean, wholeheartedly, I've been thinking about it for a long time. Okay. Lauren, dispute this. Why do you think Dava is not a train? Well, yeah, I guess Lawrence as well qualifies as a train. Actually, see, Lawrence, we're not usually in my chat, but you're right, actually. I have a second absolute train expert in here now. I have 2 trains in my chat. That is very helpful, because I need train input. What we have as a train route right now is this, and I think what we have is very pretty. It allows a connection to all of this area where, if you're a boring person, this is the place you build in on this map. If you're a fun person, this is the one place you don't build on this map, but who am I to judge? If you're boring, feel free to build in this corner. It is totally doable. I wouldn't want to do so. Anyways, this cute corner where you can build a city is connected by this railway, and this railway, I absolutely love it. It goes through this canyon next to the highway. You have the best view ever. Imagine if this is detailed out later on. Imagine if this is detailed out later on and you drive through here. You cross over the river. You have all of this beautiful valley and the river right next to you. This does seem like an absolute dream rail line. The issue is I only have one rail line now, and I would like to have a bit more rail in this map. This one I'm perfectly happy with. I think this is great, even though this curve here maybe needs to be a bit smoother. This is not optimal. But yeah, I mean, it just Lawrence, it's US rail infrastructure. Do you think I'm gonna build flawless rail infrastructure? This is quite literal the real rail connection. Like, I'm not saying this is not bad rail infrastructure, but then also this is one-to-one the real rail infrastructure from what they have here, with the only difference that in real life this is a single rail. It's not a double rail, which visually I also really like the single rail, but if we want to have some proper rail traffic, I need a double rail. But yeah, this is pretty much how it is. And which diamond crossings do you mean? I did not pay attention to one. Where is the diamond crossing? I'm not even sure if I know what the diamond crossing is, to be honest. Oh, here you mean? How can one combat these? I don't understand when they come and when they don't. Because yes, I also don't love this. Yeah, I know. I mean, honestly, while this is slow, I think in this place, at least it gets made up with beautiful views, because I think this place is great. But now my question is, I would like to build some rail here as well. How do I pull the rail out the best way out of this? Do I split it out here already and bring it along the river here and then cross? Where do I split this up? Because I think, yes, if you really want to, obviously you can also bring a rail through this canyon. I don't think I'm gonna do that. I think this is too rural. I don't think I'm... The more I think about it, actually it would be kind of cool to have a station here as well. But in reality, this is a bit too cramped and too small for rail. So I was thinking just bringing one line across here, kind of parallel to this, to have a second outside connection somewhere up here. But you guys are the railway heads. If you see a map like this, where would you wish for more rail lines? And before Dava can say everywhere, You're not allowed to say you want a rail everywhere. It's not an option that we replace all the roads with rails. I know that's what Dava would want me to do. That's not an option. Yes. See? Glad I put that rail out or that rule out before Moose could send that message and before Dava could say so. Because yes, obviously that's what Dava would say. Dava would say just replace all of your roads with a rail, but it's not what we're looking for. Okay, hold on. We're gonna do that right now and together. You say horseshoe curve. I love this, holy shit. I love everything about this. This is so cool, wholeheartedly. This reminds me of that one very popular place, and I have to admit I don't remember where in Canada it was. Or was it even in the US? Close to the Rockies, could have been on either Canadian or US side already. Where you have the train go in the mountain and take that giant spiral in the mountain, and then you see them come out on the top again. And you can, for a moment, see the end of the train in the bottom, and then the start of it come out in the top. Sad. If I would remember, probably Lauren or Dava immediately know what I'm talking about, so I don't have to Google for it. We can look at it in a moment, and then I can tell you if that's correct, but I actually want to look at this. Because yes, this kind of is a vibe I want with a rail. And looking at this, maybe we can even try to bring the rail in the second canyon as well. Here we're going out of the canyon, but I mean, this is honestly, this is not super far away from what we have in Avila Beach, because yes, our canyons are flatter. Also, I am gonna do this just so I remember this place. Thank you. But if we go to Avila Beach, the rail that I redrawn, and I wholeheartedly pretty much just redrawn that, it is kind of similar, because it also goes through this arguably a lot flatter canyon. But you can see how this also gets twirled next to the canyon here. Kinda chaotic. Actually, it is a bit less curvy than what I've drawn, so I guess I should try to clean my rail up a little, but yes, it is also very curvy going around everything here. So I'm not super far off of how it is in real life. And let's have a real quick look at if any of those places is the one I mean. Because I'm sure I could find that on Google as well, because it's a very popular... No, it's not this. I can tell you immediately. It's not in close to a big city. What I mean is pretty much in the middle of nowhere at the mountainside. It's been a long... I think this is probably gonna be it. Now the question is where the rail line is in this. See, it's one of the reasons why I look at Google Maps so little with you guys, is I'm so bad at Google Maps. You guys probably all feel like your grandma is using the computer at the moment, because that's how I feel when I use Google Maps. I feel like suddenly I don't know how to use a computer anymore, and I'm super slow and look at everything super awkward. I'm gonna Google that, Lawrence, because I don't know. I'm gonna find out the place I'm talking about, and I'm gonna send it into my Discord and tag you in there so you can see it, because that place has been stunning. But what I'm taking from your input, Lawrence, is that you're saying I should feel motivated to bring that train through the second canyon as well. I'm reading your input as you would like the rail to go through this as well. Is that a correct takeaway of your input? I shouldn't just ask the question to Lauren, the question goes to everybody. Would people think it's appropriate to bring the rail through this as well? Or would people think it's too much to bring the rail through this? Because my personal initial feeling would have been it's probably too much. I'm real sorry, Movda. I mean, actually, you can just claim a road on this, and then your road is gonna be in the released map later. But if you wanna claim a road in Los Vagos, I have bad news for you. We're not playing Los Vagos. Because Movdash paid for the points for getting a street and redeemed that like 3 weeks ago. And while I was streaming, he said he's not sure what he wants, so he's gonna look, and then we forgot about it. And then I ended stream, and then he was in holidays. And I've not been playing Los Vagos, so I kinda scammed Movdash for a road. I mean, also, I don't want to pre-build everything, right? Like, while I want general infrastructure to be there, everybody obviously is totally invited to bring their own rail through here later on. The question is, if you would download a map on PDX mod, would you wish for the rail to already go through the canyon, or do we think that's too much? Because I cannot decide. I find it a really difficult decision. In general, I think rail infrastructure, even in Los Vagos, it's always been something I struggle with. And while making map, it's not any different. That rail for me is maybe the most difficult thing. Even here, it would be cool to have rail, but then it's just unrealistic. Like, yes, we could split the rail and bring it through this, but it's so cramped. Yeah, I guess. If I asked Lauren or Dava if I should put a train somewhere, then the answer will always be yes. So everybody beside Lawrence and Dava, would you think it's appropriate to have a train go through this slim canyon here? Because yeah, you make a good point, Lawrence. You and Dava are exactly the wrong people to ask about this. While you know about trains the very most out of everybody, you both are also very heavily biased in this. Yeah, I mean, you make a good point, because Gaga said the same yesterday. Because the reality is, I don't think there is a specific starting tile that stands out in this build. I think newer players will like this area, because it's the easiest to build, it allows for an easy harbor connection and everything. Same goes for this area up here, right? If you just want open space, then yes, this is where you build. I think most players that are fun people, totally not shaming here and saying you're not fun if you build in this place, but if you're a fun person, you probably build somewhere down here, or you build somewhere up here, or in here. But I find this map to be especially interesting due to the terrain. You make a point that the rail connection being kinda only here and here so far does mean that players who start in the area where I would like them to start will have a hard time getting a rail connection in. So yeah, you make a pretty decent point with that, because in my head I wanted to have the rail just here, and I wanted to bring the rail along here as well. Then we would have like a triangle here with, I think, enough possibility to get to rail. But yes, that also does mean if you build anywhere down here, you will need to have a second settlement or a second city or village for proper rail connection, which, fair point. Maybe that means I should bring at least a train to down here, and then people can do here whatever they want to. I will probably dead end it. Because while I think it's nice to also bring a rail along here, I do think it's too crowded to have like a proper freeway and then this highway next to it and a normal arterial next to it and then also a rail next to it. It's like, yes, I want this to look American, but maybe not that much. Yeah, I agree. One of the reasons why I'm interested to bring the rail in nicer places is bridges. In all fairness, bridges I pretty much ignored yet, because what I don't understand yet, maybe somebody with more knowledge than me can tell me, can I use something like the Brian Rosha bridges pack and use some of his custom bridges? Because the highway bridges that we have vanilla are all not what I'm looking for. They are great if you want to span, I don't know, all the way from here to back there, but all of our bridges are so big. I mean, honestly, with the input I'm getting so far, I think we will give this map more rail infrastructure. I think it's one of my takeaways of reading chat today is we have too little rail. I don't disagree with that. In fact, I also agree with having too little rail. I just figured it's getting too full and unrealistic to bring rail through here. But I guess not. I mean, in reality, it does not have rail here, right? Like, if we look at the actual place, but then we don't really care about the actual place. We can do kinda do what we want. Though, for example, in a place like this, I do think it's incredibly crowded, right? Because you see how little place we have here next to the highway. And I don't really want the train to become round, right? Because we have the train here that goes up through this. And I would like to bring it across here to close this off. But if we bring it down here and stop here, I don't mind it. But if we go all around, then we basically get a weird circle, which I guess a circle is very realistic for public transport and like personnel getting carried around, but then especially for cargo, which Lauren says in the US is a lot more of a thing than passenger. I think it's unrealistic to have a full circle of them. You can. This is really big. Like, this seems very small, but the entire international airport easily fits into this square. It is really difficult to see the scale of these maps, but the rail yard fits everywhere. Fits here, fits here, fits here, fits here, fits all the way up there. The rail yard would also fit in this area, or like, it is hard to grasp how big this is, right? This is the entire playable area. So I don't think it's such a big problem. Oh yeah, my bad. Sorry, I do that all the time when I switch between the game and Google Maps, that I forget to switch the source, so I'm talking about things that you can't see. That is totally my fault. But what I was saying is, everywhere here, like, right, we can literally just try together, because it helps me as well. If we take the big rail yard, it's small, right? It's a gigantic asset in real life, but this is a big map, right? I know if you look at this is like, oh, this is tiny, this has place for a small village maybe, but it is a lot bigger than it is, right? You could even put a rail yard anywhere here if we bring the rail along here. Or, I don't know, even in small places like down here, you could totally fit a rail yard here, right? Because, again, this is the big rail yard that I personally think is too big for most things I want to do. But the maps seem a lot smaller than they actually are when you look at the assets. It's one of my big lessons when playing the game, is that when I was looking at maps, one thing I always had to do is this. I always went to industrial buildings and then to the signature buildings. Where are they? Here? The heck? Oh, because we're searching. Never mind, that's me. But because these really help me, because these are gigantic, right? And if you don't look at these in the map, then yeah, you look at this map and you're like, oh my god, there is no buildable space anywhere. But then in reality, this has enough. This small area here is as big as the entirety of Los Vagos, kinda, which hard to see. If you look at this looks like you can barely fit 3 houses here. But really, that's just because the scale is so off with these things. I've actually I've been a bit not paying too much attention with the last things they put out, because I always feel like, oh, I'm just gonna see it anyway, so why invest so much time in finding out about it? What is the old town stuff? I've seen that mentioned 1 or 2 times, but I never really paid attention to the old town stuff. Is that something they will put out together with the bite? Oh, actually, they put that out together with the bikes. Did I confirm that in what they say? Because to be honest, I did not read their own announcement today. I just read about what people were saying in my Discord or other Discords. But I had little time today before jumping on stream, so I didn't properly look at anything. Curious. Yeah, I mean, I don't think I'm gonna be done with this map anytime soon. In fact, even with the timeline they gave for the asset editor, probably I can even wait for the asset editor before putting this out. Because again, like, even by now, this took a long time, and I really think all of these rivers need to be redrawn by hand and made deeper, and then afterwards I need to go through it again and smoothen everything. Because the issue is, while this is a realistic depth for this kind of river already, the water rendering is kinda shit if they're not deep. So I wanna make all of these at least 4 to 5 meters deep, so you get less of these weird rendering issues on the distance and the water stays visual for longer. I mean, I don't know. I just know too little, right? I've not been a CS1 player for years. I have a lot less emotional investment in Colossal Order and the company, for example, and I just know too little. I feel like I could just say silly uneducated stuff, which I guess is like everything I always say, silly uneducated stuff, so just on brand. But I don't know, with things like this, I think just sitting still and waiting and seeing is the best we can do. Maybe the game gets really shit, maybe the game gets better, maybe nothing changes. I don't know, time will tell. I will just keep playing the game because I have fun in the game, and then I'll find out which of these options I have to deal with in the future. But when it happens, then I can still react to it then. But for now, I'm just gonna wait and see what is happening to us in the future, which I hope is good things, but I don't know. Again, the only thing that's ringing my alarm bells a little is looking at the current product portfolio of ice flakes, because that indeed is not screaming, we know what we're doing, taking over cities, but who knows, we'll see. They also seem, like, from the little I've been reading, they seem to be hiring a shitload, right? So who knows, maybe they just hire the entire Colossal Order team and nothing changes. Who knows? The one thing one could wish for is that the Colossal Order team makes through this fine, because they don't have a different game, have they? Like, Colossal Order has cities, and that's it, right? So I guess for them as a company, this must be a pretty big shock to lose, like, your only proper title, I guess. Yeah, see, that's what people at the start of the stream pointed out to me as well. I did not know that. I did not know that, like, CS1 development is officially over and done with, because they've been getting some new content. But yeah, people in chat also pointed out that all has been PDX and that Colossal Order had nothing to do with any of the recent CS1 developments, which, fair point. Here, I think one of our actually, totally my bad. I was gonna say that water source is too high, but it's not too high. It's just quite literally in the wrong place. What is Tantalus? Why is everything with City so confusing with so many involved partners? I mean, I already said this earlier. The one takeaway out of all of this I like is, in future, if something about the game sucks, I don't have to differentiate anymore and figure out, is this Colossal Order, is this Paradox, who did this? I can just blame the developers of this game. They are at fault. I don't have to figure anymore which company is to blame for something. And that, I do think, is nice. Makes it easier to complain. And if people know anything about Germans, then they should know Germans love to complain. And I'm fully part of that. So if I can complain even easier in future, because there is one proper address for it, I'm a big fan. And holy shit, we have to get so much deeper here. Also, we have too little water sources here, even being deep. But visually, this is the depth that is starting to look a bit more solid, because then here we can zoom out fairly far and the river stays here as well, where we put it deeper already. But then in all of these very flat areas, the water immediately despawns. I don't like it. Yeah, I mean, I'm actually curious, because I mean, since Colossal Order never really did anything different than cities, I would assume they make another city builder. Now they lost cities. Maybe that's naive as well, and maybe this means the end of the company. But if Colossal Order as a company wants to stay afloat, then yeah, obviously they will need a different title, I guess. So yeah, maybe Colossal Order makes a competitor to cities. That would actually be hilarious.
Emotional damage.
Yeah, see, but that was one of the things that I was also thinking, but Vev, everybody in my chat has been telling me that Colossal Order had nothing to do with Cities 1 for a while now, and that the Cities 1 development is officially done and over. So I guess while that is a funny idea, it's not actually realistic. Oh, did they actually say that? I did not read or hear. Oh no, I did this so many times while placing water yesterday already. Doesn't matter, thanks to the new editor, everything is very easy to fix again. We just click reset water, and now we just wait for all of our rivers to get full of water again. Yeah, no, see, because if they have nothing to do with it, and Colossal Order is also owned by PDX right now, right? Because I never really understood the owner and developer structure. And have a good night, Gaga. Thank you so much for tuning in. And sleep tight. Okay. Yeah, who knows? Maybe we actually see them go back to Cities in Motion then. Because again, they don't have a game currently, from my understanding. And where did they say that about Cities in Motion? Because I did not see that, Giggle Psycho. In all fairness, I also did not get to look at that much, so I probably just missed it, but curious. And good night, Metzger. Thanks for tuning in, as always, and have a nice night, mate. Metzger has been doing something very cool, and has been working on cliffs, or on rocks and assets to make better cliffs and easier cliffs in this game, and he published a version of those in my Discord if anybody wants to check them out. I think he also will put them up on PDX, so no need to do that, but exciting times because they look amazing and it will actually make cliff building a bit nicer in the future. And the terraforming tools are not very cliff friendly, so everything we can get in that region is more than welcome, really. And here I just placed the water really quickly and dirty yesterday, so we need to do some cleanup work, because like this it's kinda difficult to judge how deep we have to terraform and what we have to fix up. I've never played Cities in Motion. I cannot judge anything about that. I heard not bad things about it as well in the past, so it must have been a somewhat decent game, but I never played it, so I can't really comment on it. I take you played it and enjoyed it from what you are saying. But I would imagine, I'm not sure if anything like that is true to reality, but I could imagine that they also have some kind of contract where they're not allowed to make a direct competitor to Cities. That's probably a bit too much guessing, so don't listen to anything I'm saying. I'm uninformed, I'm just speculating because I enjoy speculating. But don't actually take anything I say serious or for granted. Really, is it also... Does Colossal Order own anything themselves? They don't, I guess. They just make games and sell them out to publishers. maybe the real nightmare is gonna be the next game that Colossal Order is making is for Electronic Arts, and finally Cities is gonna become similar to Sims in DLC structure. Is that not exactly the kind of news we've been waiting for? I'm sure there is nothing more exciting than that, because holy shit, I don't know how any person ever can play The Sims if that entire game seems like if you don't invest 1,000 euros in DLCs, then it's unplayable. Yeah, I mean, Lawrence, I'm just trying to add some positivity to the discussion. Everybody's been so negative, so I'm adding some positive outlooks, like maybe Ubisoft or EA taking over and joining the gang. One thing that I think I've seen that in the video. I watched that right before heading onto stream. I watched the City Planner Plays video about everything happening, just because I felt like I should be a bit more educated before I jump on stream. One thing he said actually worried me a bit, because I'm a fan of another franchise that is owned by PDX that has not been doing good under PDX at all. In fact, under PDX, nothing happened outside of delays. And it's Prison Architect. I'm not sure if anybody of you ever played Prison Architect. I love the first game of Prison Architect. Absolutely beautiful, fun game. If anybody ever needs a peaceful, chill builder game that is really enjoyable, not too deep, but fun mechanics, and actually I really think amazing game, very enjoyable. PDX bought that franchise shortly before they were gonna release the second part, and that game was to release over a year ago, and so far we've seen nothing but delays, and there is no mention anymore of Prison Architect 2 since PDX took over, which slightly worrying. Prison Architect is a great game. The first one, obviously, because the second one we've never gotten. But yeah, I love Prison Architect as well. Very much agree with you, Psycho. Glorious game. Highly recommend people looking for fun simulation games to check that one out as well. And here we don't really have a proper river anymore, so we're just gonna free ball this to over there. I think if we just go through the middle of the valley here, then this should be fairly appropriate. You reread the statement. Oh, they enjoyed working on it. Okay. Yeah, see, that's the... I also just seen that sentence where they said, we're looking forward to new projects in future, but they don't have any current project from my understanding. So, yeah, I guess sad day in the PDX office today. Or in the Colossal Order office. I shouldn't confuse those two companies with each other, especially with recent news, but I'm sorry, I do sometimes. Yeah, I think that's a very, very good short form of what Prison Architect is, which it is really close to my heart, because I used to, when I went to university, I did not have a gaming computer. I only had my Mac that I needed for university and work. So I did not really play normal games for a while and just played weird indie games that also worked on Mac. And the two games out of that time that I really will always treasure in my heart are RimWorld and Prison Architect, both absolutely gorgeous and fun games, both also very similar art style, even though they are different developers, but highly recommend both of them. I mean, am I happy with what we did here? It's not I don't like this ending here. In fact, I think we can actually do something cool here, because I don't like the ending. We are gonna split this slightly. Because this curve is ugly, and I actually think it looks really cute to have those small embankments in the middle and split those up a bit. I think that looks a lot more natural already. Obviously, we need to fix up the terraforming. I just hate that this always happens if you terraform quickly. But it is what it is. I do think this is appropriate enough to finish that. So I guess we can fill this one up as well. And all of this is gonna be nice for me as well, because my takeaway from today is I will have to put more railway in here, and especially put more railway closer to the area where I really want people to start building. And for that, it's nice as well if we have more of the rivers in, so I get a clearer idea where it's nice to bring the railway along. And why is there, I always been wondering that, has there ever been a competitor to Cities out of any of the big established publishers like EA or Ubisoft or anybody really? Why are city builders such a underappreciated journey, even though, or genre, even though they have a fairly big followership, I would say. Lawrence, I went to the supermarket earlier, and after leaving the door, I was like, oh my god, do I really need to eat something today? Maybe dying of hunger is fine, because I will die of freezing anyways if I go to the supermarket. So I can relate to what you just said, very much so, in fact. I don't enjoy winter. I enjoy winter when it starts snowing, but in my eyes, I could just skip all of the part in between. Like, I don't know, it can be autumn and the leaves get nice and orange and fall, and then when the leaves are all fallen and the shitty part of autumn and winter begins, where it's just cold and gray and wet, just skip all of that, go right to snow and then back to summer. Because I like snow, I really enjoy winter when it's snowing, but the time before snowing, please don't. Horrible. It's even worse in the UK as well. My girlfriend lives in the UK, so I'm fairly regular in the UK as well. And goddamn, that hour time difference to Germany, it sucks balls. Like, it's horrible. Even here, it's not great in winter, because we get little light. But yeah, that hour difference, really, just an hour, but it's an hour less light, it hits hard. I did something this winter, which I can actually very much recommend. It seems a bit weird, but since I hated darkness so much, I bought myself a natural sunlight lamp that gives like very natural light. I don't think that light is particularly comfy because it imitates like winter sunlight, so it's kinda dark or cold in color. But if I turn it on, it actually feels a bit more like there is daylight in my flat, and it does good things for my mood, is all I can say. Even though I'm just lying to myself, obviously there is no light and it's just my silly lamp. but I don't know. For me, it helps. And why is this water source not? Oh, I guess it was in a weird position. I was gonna complain and say, why is here such a big gap? I just put that one not optimal. I hate how quick the water despawns. It really tilts me because I don't want to have all of these rivers super deep. They're so slim, they shouldn't be so deep. But then the water despawns so quickly. Actually, here it's fine. This is very curious to me because the river is deeper here. Here it's a bit more shallow, but it's wider. Oh, actually, when we're above it, it's also... it does despawn. I think the slimmer rivers also despawn quicker, so I need to, I guess, make this one a tad wider than I wanted to. Because I don't care about all of them, but at least some of these rivers I want to be visible properly from far away as well. Honestly difficult, and I see there is an ad break in a minute. We have not had a break today yet, so when the ad break starts, I'm gonna put you into some cute position and run to the toilet really quick and get something to drink. Yeah, that's not a vanilla feature. You can, I actually been wondering about that. Maybe that's something I should look more into. Because yes, I know we have those seasonal water sources from Yen as well, but I've never really worked with them because they never really made sense for me. But for this map, they would actually be cool, especially for some of these smaller canyon rivers like this. Yeah, this would be very cool if this is seasonal and only running in winter, but then dry in summer. But I don't think I can do that in the editor without relying on mods, which maybe we can still get away with. I've not fully understood yet which mods I can use and which I can't. But anyway, ad break is starting in 10 seconds, so I'm gonna use the time while that is happening real quick and take a quick break. I should be back in like 5 minutes. I hope the ads are not too horrible, and be right back. Alright, I'm back, and welcome in, Tati. How are you liking the absolutely non-news we gotten today? I don't think anything important happened. Would you disagree with me? We are still not back in Las Vegas. I think finally when the bike patch drops, I think this Wednesday, after all of our mods have broken and gotten updated again, I think then it's time for us to dive back into Las Vegas properly as well. Till we're probably still gonna wait and hide in the editor and work on word map stuff instead. I'm also curious with the news we've gotten right now. I think it matters even more that these kind of patches, like the bike one we're getting, I really hope they're getting or going out kind of smooth, because we don't really have a full-time developer of the game anymore till they really take over. So yeah, I hope the next few things work out fairly flawless, else we're gonna have a bit of an issue. Here we have to figure and understand really quick, because this one I would definitely like to fill up. Here we need to understand how we need to build bridges. We need one bridge here, and then we need a second bridge here, I guess, to get this to be appropriate. Yeah, alright, Urban. Thanks so much for tuning in, and have a nice night. I have to work tomorrow as well, so I don't think I'll be going super long anymore either. But I at least want to do some progress in this, because while I think it's probably okay if I sometimes stream map stuff, I know it's probably not as interesting as seeing me detail, and I already think seeing me detail is probably not that interesting. So I'm gonna try to do most map stuff off stream, unless you guys tell me this is an amazing time and you would love to see all of it, then sure, I don't mind, but my feeling says I should probably do more of this off stream than on stream. It's the same type of road. I'm actually not sure. I think it might be. Just gonna do this just to make sure we don't mess up. This is number 1, and here, just to be sure, I'm 90% sure this is the same one, but just so we can't mess up, we're gonna do this, and then we hit these out, and then we have to do some fixing up, and one of the things I should always do right away, because I otherwise forget about it, is turning off the bridge again, because I, multiple times in the past, after replacing bridges, messed up big times in other areas, because I forgot that I still had that enabled. So I'm trying to learn and be clever, which I'm not clever, so difficult for me, but sometimes I pretend to be at least. Which I'm sure all of you actual clever people totally understand right away and can tell I'm just pretending, but I'm not gonna stop anyways. Okay, here actually this bridge, I have to be harsh with myself. Why did I place that this shit? Because it should be further right. Yeah, I have to be very critical with myself. I did absolutely horrendous work here. We can fix this, but why did I do that this bad? Okay, I think here probably a little deeper, and then I think this should already be enough at least to place the water sources and get a bit of an overview on how well this is gonna work out. Because I will have to correct a lot of this, but I think at least for why do I always place these unpaused? For watching, it's probably more entertaining to see me make progress and actually place those than see me slowly terraform everything perfectly right away. And it makes the terraforming a lot easier as well if I see what is happening. So I prefer to have the water down kinda early. How much did Poplar earlier say he had? 500 something? 490? 515? Something like this? The longer we do this, the more I have a feeling we might actually hit that eventually. Which at least to some degrees, because I'm also placing too many water sources, but I don't really see a downside. All of these is just a default bridges. It's one of the things that we have not done at all yet that I will have to spend a lot of time is I started with one thing and it's probably the first thing and do this, which is very boring but has to be done, and go over all of these roads and actually correct the elevation so they look as smooth as possible. That is something I will have to keep doing, especially in places like this where the road is definitely not as smooth as I'd like it. What we have to do in future, and I'm completely avoiding to do for now, is add proper lane mass, so give all of these turn lanes and bridges. So one of the things we're gonna spend time on in future is revisiting all of our infrastructure later on, and then have a look at the bridge options we have, and then adding the correct turn lanes and all of that. So yes, quite a lot of things we still have to do. For now, I'm just placing the elements, right? So probably some of these are gonna stay like they are, but yes, it's just a vanilla elevated bridge segment. Yeah, no, it depends. That depends on the nodes. You get those depending on the terrain. If my terrain here would be different, I would get those retaining walls. But you don't always get those. In fact, I mostly don't get those. You only get those on very long elements. Like, I think we have those... Where do we have those? We have those somewhere here, if I'm not mistaken. I think we have those retaining walls in any of these elements here. Here. This is what you mean, right? This is just because it's very long nodes. If you would make those very short, you don't. But not skill issue. I think that's exactly correct. I don't want these retaining walls everywhere. Here I want them because the element is too long and I need something to bridge. In a small road like the one we just drawn, I don't want them. If I would want one here, we could do that with move it. If we drag these out a bit, then we would get a retaining wall as well. You can kinda manipulate that. Not super easily, but kinda can manipulate that. But with the bridges, I still have to figure the question I asked earlier. If, for example, if I make a map, I don't mind dependencies so much, so I think I can. But I would be very interested in using the Brian Rocha bridge pack, because it adds so much more variety. In the vanilla bridges, if you look at just highway bridges, it looks not great without these additional packs. Let's have a quick look here if this works out or if it causes some horrible flooding. Is that the case? But that's exactly what I did. I just applied this element with anarchy. You were here looking at me and do that. I made a a short element, and then I force upgraded it with anarchy. It still depends if the retaining wall still depends on the kind of nodes you're forcing, from my understanding. But also, don't listen to me with anything I say about bridges. I am really shit at bridges and don't know much about them. In fact, I already asked Dava, because Dava's movie tutorials are the best movie tutorials one could wish for. And I asked Dava if he could imagine making a proper video on bridges. Because, yes, I have not worked super much with bridges in the past, so I'm not entirely sure what the best way with bridges is. I'm definitely not great at doing bridges. I'm already positively surprised I managed to get a highway to look as smooth as it is, because again, I'm not great at bridges. Why do some of my water sources not properly work? This one is definitely not working, even though it should. Just had that with another one as well, when the placement is work. Maybe I need to put this a bit smaller and more in the middle. I'm not sure. Usually those new water sources work great and do exactly what I want them to. In a very few cases, like this one, I don't seem to get them to work correctly right away. Now it is flowing. But I guess if they're too close to the ground and too low, then sometimes they struggle. Is there a better way? That's actually a good question, because there currently is no better way forcing a short node than what I'm doing and connecting a different road to it, right? There is no one-click solution of me saying I want a node here anymore in the game at this moment. Because if so, that would be very big. Again, I don't do much road work in Los Vagos, so it's one of the areas I'm not great at in the game. So I'm happy about any good tips about proper road building and bridge building. My biggest complaint with bridges in this game will always still be that I think while all of the bridges they put out, really, they all look gorgeous, amazing assets, really cool and pretty. Why do all of them have to be so gigantic? Maybe not every bridge has to be like the Golden Gate Bridge. Maybe we can also have a normal bridge for a normal road going over a small creek or something. Because I still think with those we don't have that much variety, though I have to also be honest, since I didn't really play much since Bridges and Ports. I have not looked at all of the new options yet, so maybe there is a bit more out there than I give it credit for. But look at how cute this is. Even though this is just really quickly thrown together, I think this makes the world of the difference to have these small rivers flow through these canyons. Honestly, such a big difference. And we have no vegetation or foliage or rocks or anything, so this already starting to slowly look kinda cute is giving me a lot of hope. And here I don't like how low this goes, so we're just gonna be harsh and bring all of this maybe to this. Let's see, we're gonna take all of these, maybe even this one, and bring them to the same level here. That lets us get a bit of a better visual. Yes, this is a lot better. Again, my placement of the bridge has been pretty shit. That's something I will have to correct as well. I just want to get the road itself to be a lot smoother. Hold on, which one did we miss there? This one should go down onto this level as well. Or this one is too low, actually. Which way around? Okay, before I mess up something, we're just gonna take all of these now bring it to that one. Okay, perfect. And probably with this, I'm also a bit oversensitive because I looked at other maps, and I'm not saying people don't clean them up this perfectly, but quite a bit of the roads in other maps don't seem super clean. But I don't know, especially with these mountain roads, I think they look very silly if they are not smooth. So I've been trying to go over most of these and get them to be as smooth as possible. In many segments, you don't need to correct. You can actually see it fairly easily while going along this, for example. I don't like. This is a bit too much of a dip here in the middle. So this one, we're gonna bring a bit more slope to. Maybe you also have to adjust this one, but I actually think just removing that one dip was what it needed. Same problem here. I hate when this happens, when in an element that clearly should have a fairly continuous slope, you get this, which is again also my fault as a bold builder. I could just turn on the continuous slope, but in many of those areas here, I think it looks nicer if you don't have a continuous slope, but then you get some of these weird dips, like here again as well, that I generally prefer visually if you take them out a bit at least. Again, let's see. If the bike patch is good, then we're back in Los Vagos next week as well, and you guys don't have to suffer through me doing this much boring things. We're gonna instead do more boring things in Los Vagos instead. But I'm actually looking forward to diving back into Los Vagos, because that last thing we were building in Los Vagos was actually a very cool build that I really want to finish, and is the automobile cinema, or the drive-in cinema we were building. But then the patch came and I did not enjoy the gameplay after patch, so we never really went back into that. But if we dive back into Los Vagos, that's probably the first thing we're gonna touch and work on. Okay, these all look smooth enough, and the rest we can fix up later. But I think now the canyon road here looks a lot more appropriate already. Again, this bridge is kind of shit. How do I find out, Jay, if I can use something like the bridge pack from Brian Rocha in the editor? Who can tell it to me, or what do I need to test to be sure that that's not causing issues for anybody? Because if I look at maps from people, I know that Rafterman puts quite a few dependencies on his maps, but most maps have very little dependencies to work fine in vanilla as well, which honestly fair, but I don't care too much if my map works in vanilla. This is still too flat, even though I made it deeper 2 or 3 times now. This part here is still too flat. Maybe it's also too little water sources. Okay, we can do that right now. I added the pack already because I wanted to test, but then didn't really get to it. I guess he should have his own folder here as well. Yeah, Brian, nice. So I'm just looking for any small bridge, anything we can replace somewhere. I hate not having find it in the editor. I don't like this. I cannot see anything. This is not what we want. This is all way too big. I want something small, just a normal 2-lane bridge, if we can find out anywhere. Pedestrian, this is a pillar itself. But this is just the parts. I guess only the ones with a proper image are fine. These are all too big. This is just elements. Really? Can I use find it in the editor? I think I've unbound that. Hold on. I think that's probably on me. Yeah, see, I unbound that, but we're just gonna rebind that. Info panel, toggle, follow, we don't care. Ah, Jay. I did not know. That makes me so happy, you don't even know. I've been tilting on that shitty asset browser. I did not know I can use find it in this. That's an absolute game changer to me. Yeah, thanks so much. If you would have not told me, I would have never known. So indeed, very big. The one thing that I don't understand, but I guess I just have to set that here correctly, because we were still in the replace menu? No. Why did that put me in the replace menu? Oh, because this one is on. Okay. Put this back, and now we go back into find it. Now it should let us place them. It does. Okay, that's actually very nice. The one thing that's a bit infuriating is that I guess we still need to use this UI for doing everything. But then to browse, we can at least use find it. I want something that's noticeably... Oh, god damn it. Why is it in the different category now we're in? He wants to upgrade again. Why did that put us to upgrade? None of these put us to upgrade. Okay, these put us to upgrade. Okay, hopefully now we can finally do it in peace. But yeah, you guys can tell I'm not good at the editor. It's one thing I have not used too much outside of a few basic things, so some things for me are not super straightforward. This one is super clean and simple. I think, is this for pedestrian? What is this? Pedestrian, shit. Else that would have been very nice for what I wanted. Because these are all so big. This is an absolutely stunningly beautiful bridge, but way too big for what I want. This one is actually fairly smallish. I just wanna, the word literally just for testing reasons, I'm just gonna put multiple different bridges here, and then I save the map and we load the map and have a look at it together, just to see if they show up fine. It's really, I don't care about any of those bridges yet. I'm not at the stage yet. I just want to know, can I use a Brian pack or not? That's a good idea, but what Find It doesn't have, I guess, is the placement options, right? That you usually get here next to it. I guess I do have the one here if I make them not over... Yeah, I guess you have a point. How do I do that again? In this. And then we put it to the left side. Yeah, I guess this together is not bad. Oh, holy shit, I barely see anything in our screen anymore. But yes, good tips. Thank you, Jay. This is actually a way nicer setup than what we had before. I mean, honestly, some of these bridges look really nice and are also fairly small, but the smaller ones are nearly all adjustments by Brian, so I don't trust it in vanilla. And what we're gonna do is we are gonna save this. And then we're gonna load this and have a look if that works. I'm gonna save it on the two non-correct ones. Actually, I'm gonna overwrite all of them. If I break something, then I'm gonna cry, but whatever. Yeah, okay, curious, because I never understood why anybody wants to have it in the left side. That makes no sense for me. Unless you're in the editor. In the editor, that actually seems really great. And just because I want to find it out if this works, let's have a real quick look. New game, normal, custom, and all of these are the same. I hate that it can't display the file name here, because I never know which of these is my backup and my main save, so I have to save on all of them. But so if this works for me now, this means if I publish this with the bridges, this will also work for everybody else. Because I assume this will work. Yeah, look, all of our bridges are right here. So this confirms I can use them, I guess. Because if it does, then that's amazing and big news for us, because that means we can use all of the bridges. And I guess that also behaves the same, because Brian actually has 2 packs that... I don't want to add many dependencies, but 2 of his packs are the 2 packs I'm interested in. It's this one, and it's the vegetation one, because he has those colorful plants as well. And that pack also would be very interesting. Yeah, I mean, I guess everybody will be sub to it anyways. And what happens, I'm gonna test that after stream, if I disable the pack and load in, if this becomes obsolete entities, because then I don't mind if people can delete it as obsolete entities and just replace it with something. Sure, that is no problem for us. I just don't wanna break the map for anybody. Also so cool to see. Actually, this is even the boring part. I want to see the actual interesting interchanges here. Heck yeah, I love this. I wholeheartedly, so cool to see the interchanges we built here. With traffic, because I only look at them in the editor, so obviously I've never seen a car drive on any of these. I can tell that some of the corners here I do want to correct a bit. This is a bit too harsh, but in generally this looks so nice. Wholeheartedly loving this. The interchange I'm the most interested about is this one. Because this actually should see quite a bit of traffic from this road as well. Because we have 2 outside connections, one somewhere here, one somewhere there. So here we should see a lot of through traffic. This one I already seen. This one here I need to reconnect. I had a bit of a brain fart. But this needs to be cornered nicer into the roundabout, because obviously they need to drive only in one side. Yeah, it's still your UFO prefab, which I guess I have a lot of through traffic here, so I see a lot of your UFOs. Which I don't mind. I think they just add to the vibe of it. Oh, and one thing I actually love seeing is I added outside boat connections already to see a bit of outside boat traffic as well. And we actually do see some nice outside boat traffic. I like it wholeheartedly, adds quite a bit. Maybe I need to, because I put one seaway out here and then one a bit closer to the coast. I guess I probably need to remove the further one, because else they will not use the one closer to the coast. That I actually would like to see real quick, because again, in the editor I can't verify if any of the outside connection stuff I'm making works out fine in the game itself. Come on, give us outside boats, please. Please. Of course, as always, when I want to have a look at something and talk about it, and it's not happening. We just had 3 boats here, why is there none anymore? Oh, there is one. And yeah, my hope would be that sometimes they take this left one here. Let's see. They will always take the right one because it's shorter. Okay, that makes perfect sense. So I think I will have to, I want to disable this one. Because I would like them to go a bit closer to the coast to be prettier, nicer visible. I guess it makes less sense, because yes, in the reality they would drive a bit further away, like this. Do we care about logic? Not really, we just care about this looking nice. And for this looking nice, I think it's cuter if we bring it a bit closer to the ocean front, because really, like this, especially if you build here, maybe it's too far. It's still nice, it looks great with them back there, but imagine they would drive somewhere here, like not immediately up onto the ocean, obviously, that's not what we want, but less distance than this one. I have one here kind of close to the map corner and then one closer to the ocean. I'm just gonna go ahead and delete the further one, and then that should look a lot nicer. I also really have to look better into climate, because the climates I don't understand, they behave so different to each other that I am wholeheartedly lost why sometimes my map is as bright as it is right now, for example, because the sun, I guess, is too close to us, but I don't ever want this to look as bright as it is right now. But okay, this was enough test already, because I can totally see none of them taking the route we want. And the bridges work, so I think we're gonna jump back into the editor. And with a look at the clock, see? Oh, actually that's a good point. How, you as an ocean expert, how close is realistic? How close can I bring it here? Obviously, you're right, I already said, realism is not super important for us. Is it okay if I bring them somewhere here, where my mouse cursor is leading, or is that already super unrealistic? But yeah, makes sense. If you go close to the coast, you can't use crude oil. For me, it's more visual, right? Like if I imagine we build here, then I just think that distance is a bit too far to get really nice background visuals in a screenshot. So even though realistically you're totally right, that makes no sense to go a bit closer here, visually I think it really is nicer than this, because they are so far away here. Exit to main menu and back in the editor. For a moment I tricked you guys and I thought we were actually playing the game, but we will not do that till the traffic gets a bit fixed at least. Yeah, you're right. That is gonna be closer. But even the big ones, I think they look really pretty. Like I really like the visuals of those bigger boats driving past as well. So I would like them to be in as well. And I guess my internet just died because my Twitch just tells me welcome to my chat room. But I guess we're back. Yeah, that was a great time, wholeheartedly. I'm so sad I don't have that anymore. Because really, that were absolutely amazing times. But I'm quite excited, really. The great news about this is it means we can use those. And I hate that this happens with the surface. It's an easy fix, but I don't understand why this is the case. I think even if we just do this on, yeah. It's like this, our brush is so weak, we're not changing any of the terrain, so nothing changes, but we fix that we're left over broken textures from the bridges. Not sure why that ever is a thing, that you have those left behind. Oh, one more here. Now it looks clean again. So now immediately we're gonna save this again so I don't forget. What was the cause about that again? I already forgot about that. Luckily that has been a while ago. Because for the map making stuff, it's amazing to be able to switch between the editor and the actual game. Sadly, where I can still absolutely not do that for is while actually playing on my main playset, because my main playset is too heavy for the editor. But otherwise, it's really... Yeah, but for assets, again, I still have that problem that at least if you have a playset that's as heavy as mine, then that is still no help. You still can't really do it. You will crash regardless. I haven't tried since Bridges and Ports. Maybe something changed as well, but prior to Bridges and Ports, I crashed on my main playset as soon as I loaded into the editor. Else I would love that. I think I would go into the editor a lot more if I knew that I could just jump in and out, but... Yeah, you're right actually. For that it's nice. I still wish that the editor would be so stable that we could just jump in it on our main playset while playing the game, right? Like while you build something and you're like, oh, I would need the following for this to be even nicer. Then you just jump into the editor real quick, you build yourself whatever you would like to reuse quite a lot. I don't know, a few patches of vegetation or something. And then you just load back into the game, but due to the editor being so unstable and at least me not being able to do that on my main playset, I never been tempted by that, because it really means I have to restart. Are you still set on your plan to upload all of your things for December? Because I know at least for a while it sounded like your plan is to bring all of your assets onto PDX. I guess actually probably it's not your plan anymore, because we now know we get the asset editor very soon. I totally forget about that. Yeah, what a silly question. I have to agree with you, because you're gonna point out that it's a silly question, and yeah, indeed silly question. Yeah, of course, makes sense. I'm curious how the reception of, I don't know most of the legends in the eyes of CS1 players, most of the really big asset creators, because I never use them in CS1. But I'm sure a lot of the asset creators are really excited right now, no? Like, even though it came with that weird switch of no more Colossal Order, it does mean that we now have an asset editor and they can bring their stuff out. And why is this happening? I don't understand it. Why is this water source right now? This does not work. What am I doing wrong? Why is this not working? Like, it is high enough, we can see it, it's high enough, but I think now it's a bit hard to see because it's the other one. I'm actually gonna reset. Yeah, no, see, this water source doesn't work. Why doesn't it work? What am I doing wrong here? Is it just the positioning? Is it that it's... But it's already a lot higher than the others. Wholeheartedly. Why is this one? Sir? You're a water source. Make water. Hello? I mean, I guess at least in this stream I found something that's even less useful than I am. And this gentleman, he's even less useful than I am. Because why is this water source not making water? I made you smaller, I made you bigger, I made you higher, I made you lower. Where's your problem? Yeah, right, Lawrence. This is exactly the kind of anger I want you to hear. Why is he not doing it? What is he doing? Sir, it's your job. You literally got hired. If this water source doesn't behave, I'm gonna pull on this water source what Paradox has been pulling on Colossal Order, and I will replace you with somebody else. So you better work right now. It's going great, Lavondis, but this water source is refusing to collaborate with me. Which obviously has to be a skill issue. I'm gonna delete this water source. I'm gonna place a new one right there. Maybe it just had a bad day or something. Maybe it didn't like the news we've been getting today, so it refused to work. Are you gonna collaborate? Why is this happening? I'm so confused. What did I do different with this one? It's exactly the same. It's also in the middle of the river on the floor. Yeah, I blame Ice Flakes, I agree. What a horrible company. They get the game and immediately on the first day my water source doesn't work anymore. This has all been Ice Flakes doing. Now it works, because I drag it a bit low, but I want it to work up here. Why is it refusing to work when it's here, and then as soon as I put it here, even lower? Here it works. Nope, now it's not working anymore either. Holy shit, this water source is more moody than me. Now it works, but... this has all been Ice Flakes doing, I agree. And welcome in, Lavondis. We're doing nice. We're still trying to learn how to make a map. Clearly, if you've been watching the last few minutes, I'm not too great at it. I cannot even place water properly. But we're trying to make a cute map, and I'm listening to what people think about the big debacle that happened today, or not debacle. Make it whatever you want. But I'm curious what everybody thinks about the news, and I hope that at least some of the input is making me hope. Is this the next... What is going on? What is wrong with this place that water sources here don't... Hello? I don't understand. I had no issues with water sources ever. The entire stream, you guys been watching me put one water source after the next, and they all worked fine. Now these... all refuse to cooperate. It's so weird. Now it works, because I dragged it a very little. I'm gonna do the same with this one. Okay, that's actually very interesting to know. I guess in some positions, I don't really understand yet when they cooperate and when they don't. But yeah, these three all needed to be in a specific position to work properly. Welcome in, Red Unity. Nice to see you here. You are not having the most interesting first stream to come in here. Usually I'm detailing a lot and build cute cities, but recently I've been doing nothing but hiding in the map editor, trying to find out how to make cute maps, so I'm not sure my streams have gotten any more interesting. Soon we're gonna be back to detailing. As soon as the bike patch drops and they fix up the mods again, then we're gonna dive back into it. Yeah, it's my first map I'm making, so I'm not sure how well I'm doing. I'm fairly happy with what we have so far. But yeah, a lot of it is trial and error. The water looks really weird because I just reset it, so the river have to fill up again. That should look a bit better in a moment, but yes, this is what we're kinda building. It's a weird kinda desert canyon city. I just want a map with less buildable area than most things we have out there. And I think there is a lot of absolutely amazing maps by absolutely amazing map makers, but both of them, or most of them at least, are fairly open and give a lot of space to the player. And I like the opposite. I like struggling. I like having little space in these canyons. So we're trying to make something that we want to build on after we finish the build we've been building on for the last 8 months, 7 months, something like that. Yeah, give me all of your input, because my input has basically been, I don't know, I have to wait and see, because I don't know enough about it, but I'm interested in what everybody else thinks. I mean, I don't think your build will break, Lawrence. I don't think most people who gave up on their builds this patch, I think just stopped troubleshooting a bit too early, because most of the saves that in my Discord been announced as broken, they all were recovered. I don't think anything will break permanently. I do think you probably will have to wait a while for the mods and everything to pick back up though. The blue hue is just because we're really close in the morning. This would be more appropriate light for the map, I guess. I have not really invested time into the climate or anything yet. We have no vegetation. We're still at a very early point. I did most of the general road layout, even though we have to clean that up a bit and add proper lane mass and turns and everything. But I put a road layout down, or a base road layout, to give a bit of an idea of where we want to go. And I also want the road layout to stay as simple as it is. I don't really plan on adding more roads, because I want people to build their own places, their own cities. I just want generally good infrastructure, so diving into a build is little work and you can get started really quickly. Yeah, I was also thinking about that. I quite literally was thinking about that as well. Yes, kinda. I'm not sure if you've never seen a build of me before, but I'm building Los Vagos, which is like a desert rednecky kinda crazy build. It's less Arizona-y than this, but I really like building in the desert. I had an absolute blast and been doing so for the last 8 months. And this is my own second approach on it, because I think the map I'm building on is very fun and nice, but it's a bit too open for my taste, so I want something fairly similar to what I'm on right now, but more water, because I have very little water in my map, and then a lot less buildable terrain. So it's a new take on our current build, pretty much. No, I started off a heath map. I don't think you can terraform as good as data can in this game. Is the honest truth. I thought I'm gonna do everything by hand, and then I trade with terraining, and I was like, okay, yes, I'm gonna do everything by hand because terraining looks like shit. But then I learned QGIS, and I very quickly had to realize that I will never do a better job than what QGIS can do by itself. So data all the way, and then a lot of cleanup by hand and recrafting. Yes, but the tools are not there. The truth is, even with...
Bye, have a great time.
Even if you change the brushes here, even with a peak brush, which is the most accurate brush we can get on the smallest range, you will not be able to be as accurate as the 1 meter data can do, right? So is a bit of a sad one, because I would have liked doing more by hand. But I am not gonna be better than data, and I think most map makers would agree, like the best map maker, and I'm sorry to everybody else, but in the game we have that is Rafterman. Rafterman also, it would not handcraft any of this, but use his maps, because they do a better job than even somebody who is as good and as amazing at making maps than like Rafterman. Which is mainly down to the tools, right? The tools we get are just not accurate enough. And have a good night, Jay. Thanks for tuning in, and sleep tight. Yeah, I guess also we probably have a no bike mod. I'm very curious how much variety they give with bikes if we get to choose where they go. Because I hope they don't put the bikes on highways. Yeah, I mean, really, I don't think this map even is the best example. I'm gonna have to jump off stream in a few minutes anyways. I can show you a few other Heath maps I also did, and I'm fairly sure you will agree with me that there is not a single person in the community of this game that would be able to come close to handcrafting some of these to what data can give you, which again is a bit sad because it makes you more reliant on good data and the right positions, but if you can get good data, it will quite literally just always beat anything you can do by hand. Because again, these mountains are not so sharp. Wholeheartedly, I need to go to bed in like 5 minutes, so I'm gonna show you some of the others just to prove a point here. And we're gonna discard this one entirely. We're just gonna go and make a new map to get rid of all of the roads and everything. Sure, you can suggest everything, but I do terraform a lot. I don't generally complain about open places. In my map, I love the open places. Just in my actual normal save that I play on, I think is a bit too much. But for example, let me find a good tease map here that actually proves my point quite well. Lake Isabella is a good example, because the truth is, nobody will ever be able to craft a mountain like this by hand, right? It's just... it's not doable. Not with the terraforming tools we have in the game right now, right? And my map is not the worst example. In fact, I actually made my map less sharp than it originally was, because you do get a bit of pixels in some of these. I actually blurred my map slightly, which is counterintuitive because that makes the quality a bit worse, but that also means you get less of these ugly pixels. But my entire Heath map has a slight blur on top of it. But yeah, really, my point is just this is not doable by hand. Even if you invest 500 hours and your entire next 3 months of your life, this will look better than anything you can do by hand. So sadly, that means we should rely on data more than handcrafting. The resolution of, and this is also a bit of a bottleneck, the resolution we get for both the world as a Heath map is 4096 pixel by 4096 pixel. Which for the Heath map is pretty decent. It's nearly perfect. Yes, you do get pixels. If you look at this, right, you totally get pixels. It's close to perfect on the Heath map. On the world map, you will get pixels. No matter what you do, this is unavoidable just because we have too little resolution for the area that gets covered, right? This is unavoidable. no way you can avoid this, even if you terraform for 1,000 years, just because the pixel density is too big. So yes, the data I'm using is so good that you do see not all of the roads, but quite a bit of the roads printed into it. Look at this. This is quite literally roads. It's why I'm telling everybody, don't use Terraining. Terraining is a shit website that is... I should rephrase this. Terraining is an absolutely wonderful and amazing website that should be used for prototyping, feeling out good areas, loading a quick keys and world map into your game to get a better feeling of scale and everything. As soon as you make a good map, don't use Terraining. It's a shit idea. The quality of it is garbage. This is really, the scale is really difficult. This is gonna have enough space for a highway. Like, you can totally put a highway on this. It's something that's really hard to understand, the scale of this, but if we have a look here, this is a 2-lane highway, like you just asked. This quite literally would fit on there pretty perfect. I don't stream on a schedule. I generally stream on Monday if I find a time for it, and otherwise I stream whenever I have the time for it. So no schedule. I stream between 1 and 3 times a week in the evening when I manage to, but very like no schedule, infrequent, depends on how it fits into my day. But really, the scale is something that's hard to grasp, because Jay earlier, I'm gonna wait for that. Ad is nearly done, and after that ad, I will also have to find somebody to raid out to sooner or later, because it's getting late. Okay, now the ad is finally over, so you can hear me again. Yes, that's very nice of you, Red Unity. The very easiest, if you actually want to catch my streams, is if you join my Discord. It posts a link. If you type !Discord in chat, then I always ping in my Discord when I'm streaming. So if you are an active Discord user and you want to catch my streams, that's generally the best place to manage so. But yes, Wolf, like this is it's a different tease map, but again, it proves my point. I don't think anybody can handcraft this, right? I just think it's unrealistic to think you can do this better than what 1 meter accurate LiDAR data did. So it's a bit hard, because I wish I could say I'm better than a machine, but I don't think I am better than a machine. But you are making proper maps, Wolf. I don't want to be a map maker. I'm just a bit of a all-in or nothing kind of person, and I know that my builds usually last for a year or something. So I really want the perfect map for myself. That's why I've invested so much time into this. But I hope I can get a lot of proper map makers to stop using Terraining, because Terraining can never give you something like this, right? Like, it's just the truth is Terraining is so much worse than what you can do with QGIS that I hope I can get a lot more proper map makers to start using QGIS, because I don't even want to make maps. I just hope people make more amazing maps so I can use theirs. But I just looked into all of this because I wasn't happy with what I found for exactly my kind of build, right? I also have very specific wishes. I want really crowded and small maps. Yes, exactly that. That is a big problem, and that's why data will always win, right? Because you can totally adjust these and craft off of this and make it nicer, but you cannot make it this nice by yourself. So I think the right way is to get really high quality QGIS maps and then start working on those afterwards. No. All of this, you have to redraw all of this. Water, you will have to redraw. That is not something data can help you with. So it's not like you just make the map and then you're done, right? Like that's the shortest time of it. But I would say if you spend, I don't know, depending on how quick you are, between 50 and 500 hours to make a great map, then you might as well give yourself the best starting point, right? Because, yeah, sure, while this is not deep enough, this is fairly easy to redraw, right? And then the truth as well is I'm not staying true to the actual map, like on the map we're doing. I've been adding a lot of rivers where there is no rivers, and I make the rivers all wider and something. But I don't know, it also looks like this has super little space, right? One of the things that I really struggled with doing maps at the start, and I can tell that I'm not the only one, because I'm not sure if you were there earlier. When Jay came into my chat earlier, he said, how are you gonna have space to put a rail depot? Because my maps look like it has no buildable space, right? But then this is one of the biggest buildings in the game. And it's tiny on here, right? So for me, it really helps also taking a building and placing it just to get a better idea of the scale. And that's where I think terraining is so good for, because I totally use terraining a lot to add quick prototypes to my game, because making a proper map in QGIS takes, I don't know, depending how quick you are, between 30 minutes and 4 hours, maybe. In terraining, it takes 5 minutes or 2 minutes, maybe. So I think using terraining in early stages to find out, do I like an area? Is it nice? And all of that. Terraining is amazing. Afterwards, switch to QGIS. Yes, I've been getting a lot better at it nowadays because I've been spending so much time in the editor recently, but I still struggle with scale, because even in my map looks like it has no buildable area. That's not true at all. You can build multiple absolutely gigantic cities in there. And thanks for the follow, and also, yes, Ice Flakes fan club, be warned, my Discord is not very serious. It's a very nice place. I think there is a lot of very nice creators of the community in there. So it's a fun place, but it's also a very unserious place. So expect weird nicknames, expect the Discord name to change regularly and all of that. That depends on the country, right? And that's also one of the downsides of working with QGIS. You are more limited by data. If it's about the US, you can find it from the US government. If it's about New Zealand, you can find it from the New Zealand government. If it's about Japan, you are a bit... Oh my god, this is definitely not... Oh, we don't have a hole here, that makes sense. But if it's about Japan, you will have a bit of a bad time, because Japan has data only between 2 and 5 meters. I would say you want to aim for 1 meter, so some regions are not easy. But it depends on the country, right? In Germany, for example, there is no collected place for data. There is some cities or councils who give out elevation data, but you will have to search. There is quite a lot of resources in the modding Discord where people link to data sources they found. So depending on the area, that's a good starting point. In any really western parts, it's generally not that difficult. In Canada, you will find proper data, and in the US, in the UK mostly, but it depends a bit. There is no general answer to that, but it's region specific pretty much. And it's also the downside, right? Because even in the US, I cannot use any place I want, especially in Utah and Arizona. Sadly, there is quite a few of no projection zones where you don't get LiDAR data from that I would really like to get. So you are limited by data availability if you do the QGIS route, which is sad, but then I think it makes up in quality of what you're getting. So I think that's a trade-off that's fine to take, in my opinion, at least. Yes, it's just the normal modding Discord. I'm sure you're in the modding Discord. There is a map section in there. That's where I learned how to use QGIS. There is good resources on pretty much everything there. Because again, I started looking into maps like 3 weeks ago maybe, and the first 1.5 to 2 maps have been exclusively spending my time on Google Earth, and I've not actually done anything. There is a really good tutorial. It's called, I think it's also in that Discord, and it's also in my Discord. If you go into my map making channel and you look at the pinned messages, there is quite literally the tutorial I personally used to learn QGIS. And then I did learn quite a bit outside of that, because it's just an example for getting started. But the good thing about QGIS is that it's a program that's used for other things as well, right? It's used in normal work environment by many people. So you can find a lot of resources about it on YouTube, depending on what you're looking for. Welcome in, Cosmic. Well, we're still in very early parts, and clearly we did a bit of a oopsie here and flooded half of our map, so wrong moment for that compliment, but otherwise I'm starting to slowly feel a bit better about this. Right now it looks silly because we just reset the water, but it's getting there. Slowly. I guess so. Tether tend to flood, but I did not mean to flood this in that moment. But yes, I have to look into seasonal streams if I can also use them while making maps, because that would be really cool actually. And did I forget to turn on my... I don't think I forgot to turn on my alerts today. But yes, sadly, Cosmic, you have bad timing, because I'm pretty much at finding somebody to raid out. Because it's hitting 1 o'clock here, and I'm gonna have to work tomorrow early. So as much as I would like to continue doing nothing but building this map, I will sadly have to call it a night. Are you planning on streaming by chance? Is anybody planning on streaming who I can raid out to? Preferably cities, of course. Yeah, then go, hurry up. You have like 10 minutes. I can waste a bit of time. If you go play cities, then yeah, I mean 30 hours, Damir, welcome in, but 30 hours I think is a bit over what I can offer today. But if it's like 10-15 minutes, then sure I can survive. I mean, yeah, just a very little bit, Amir. In 13 hours, I already have slept for multiple hours, and I'm already back up, had breakfast, and I'm sitting at the desk doing proper things. So it might be a tad too long for me. I don't know, Damir. I have little to say because I have too little experience with Colossal Order as a dev. Like, keep in mind, I'm still playing Cities only for a year. So I know nothing about everything that happened in CS1 or anything that happened in the first years of CS2. I don't know. Could be really bad, could be good, could be everything in between. So we will have to wait and see. I don't feel the best about it after I've seen the portfolio of Ice Flake, because goddamn, does not seem like they did anything of relevance in this industry prior. But has Colossal Order done amazing lately? Sadly, I don't think so, as much as I would like to think so. So mainly, or maybe it could be good. It's the first time ever we got a concrete timeline for things. It's the first time ever they feel very communicative. I don't know, could be really bad, could be really good. I'm just gonna play the game and look at it, and we'll find out in the future. And I think a bit more than a year. I think if I say I play a year, that's probably a lie. I think I play for maybe a year and 2 months or something by now. So a year is a tad too little. But yeah, not much more, to be honest. And why is the flooding here so bad? Are all of these water sources so much too high? I mean, I turned a lot of these way too high because they had struggled properly working. So we're gonna turn these down and investigate if that behaves better. Are you loading up your game, Cosmic? Because I'm not kidding. After you said you were gonna head on, I'm pretty much just waiting for your game to be loaded in so I can array it out to you. I don't know. I feel sorry for Colossal Order, right? Because it seems like, at least in CS1, they've been they made all of you guys very happy, and all of you guys seem to have a great time in the past in CS1. But then, looking purely at it from CS2 development, which again I don't know whose fault it is, or maybe all the blame is on Paradox, and Colossal Order did a great job. I don't know. I have no clue. So I don't feel I am in a competent position to answer this. But I get that something had to change. Not sure if this is for the better or for the worse. And not sure if the blame in the end hit the right person. But generally I get that something had to change, because I think I've been one of the people who's been fairly happy with Cities, but especially most old CS1 players, I don't think they were very happy from hearing most of the opinions since I'm playing. Yeah, see, for me it's actually very interesting, because I played CS1 very, very early. When I say I didn't play CS1, I am lying to you, not out of maliciousness, but I did play CS1 for 30 hours. And that was very shortly after release, but I did not like the game. I did like the game a lot. I hated building roads in CS1, and in a city builder, I think building roads is kind of fundamental and important. So with how shitty it was to build roads, I uninstalled CS1 after playing it for 30 hours and never never looked back until I seen about CS2 a year ago and bought the game. Yeah, I think, to be honest, Wolf, it's one of the reasons why a lot of, like, both you and me and some other CS2 players always been a bit happier with the game than some of the CS1 players. Because we never had something taken away, right? I never had an asset editor, so I don't feel like, oh no, now I don't have an asset editor. 'Cause how am I supposed to feel like that? I never had one to begin with. But if you had all of those amazing tools and then you get a new, better version of the game and suddenly you find yourself to have less than what you had before, I get that people get annoyed with that. Salah, that was not what I wanted to do. Yeah, bikes and asset editor. I mean, really, with all of the bad news that we've been getting, I think people ignore that a bit too much, because, yeah, how is that not amazing news that we finally get... I don't care about bikes, to be honest. I probably will install no bike mod in the first week of having the bikes. But the asset editor is the actual big news. I don't understand why Americans are so obsessed with bikes. As somebody who lives in a country where biking happens all day, every day, I don't get it. For me, do you think you would ever see a biker in a map like this, Cosmic? If you take your bike and you come here, you will get run over after 5 minutes. So I don't think this is proper biker territory. I am very excited for the asset editor though. That cannot come soon enough, really. And Cosmic, are you loading up your game? Am I correctly waiting for you to get raided soon, or am I ready to? Oh, you are on. Okay, actually, very perfect. Because then I will literally use this opportunity. I wish all of you cuties an absolutely wonderful evening, and as you guys could have figured already by what I've been saying, I'm gonna send you guys over to Cosmic. And hope you cuties are having a nice evening and a good time over there. Don't be so sad about the news. We don't yet know what it means. Could be good, could be bad. We don't know yet. I'm a big fan of just waiting and seeing, and we will find out how things will go. Maybe it will turn out great. Maybe it will turn out horrible. We don't know yet. We will find out, but as always, thank you so much for tuning in. And I will be back, I don't know when, but I hope sometime this week. And otherwise, latest on the next Monday. And let's hope the patch this Wednesday is not breaking our game for too long and mods get online fairly quickly again. But with that, thank you so much for tuning in and watching, and all of you have an absolutely wonderful evening and enjoy your time over at Cosmic. If you enjoyed your time and you want to catch one of my next streams, easiest is to either follow me on Twitch or join my Discord, where I always ping when I stream. And with that, have a nice night, cuties. Thanks.